Good morning, guys. Welcome back to Vlogvember. I'm back. Here I am in my normal habitat. It's quite early. It's 10 to 8. I've already had a coffee and I've been doing some writing. Every morning I've been doing 3 pages of handwritten writing. I'm now making a second cup of coffee and I'm going to just spend a while replying to comments. This is what my Novembers look like, really. Filming and editing. So every morning, basically today, I need to reply to comments from yesterday's video and the ones earlier than that as well, to be honest, to try and answer as many comments as possible. And then I need to start editing. It's just this hamster wheel, but I absolutely love it. It gives my November such structure. I love it. But anyway, let's get myself my second coffee of the day. What have we got today? We've got a Los Angeles mug today, guys. Right, let's put my second pod in. This is only new, this machine, fairly new, maybe a year old, and already it's a bit broken where like you have to push the pod down with your finger, which you shouldn't have to do. And I just don't know if I can be bothered to complain to Nespresso. I don't know where we got it, maybe John Lewis, and maybe I should. I'm gonna look into that today. Just another thing to add to the to-do list. Look what I've done. I step away for one moment and it's absolutely filled to the brim. I feel like I do this all the time. This is not how I expected to spend my morning. Basically lapping coffee like a dog. Do you know what I just thought about then? Mr. and Mrs. Smith on Amazon. That sounds like I'm trying to segue into a brand deal with Amazon. I have worked with Amazon in, fairly recently, actually on TikTok, but no, this is not a brand deal. You know when a TV show leaves an impression and you just keep thinking about it? Well, I haven't thought about this show until just then, and I don't know why that unlocked some memory. But did any of you watch Mr. and Mrs. Smith on Amazon? Because I really loved it. It's like a remake of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the film, with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, which I think is where Brad and Angelina met, didn't they? They turned it into a TV series on Amazon, and it was so good. I really, really loved it, and I'm like, I wonder if they're doing a second season. Let me know your TV and film recommendations, because as you know, I love TV and film, so I'm always up for recommendations. Right, here we go. I've also got my electrolytes. Right, let me do some sorting out. So I have put some things on the internet for sale, and some of these things have been on there for ages. So I'm just gonna take some of them off, the ones that have had no views, no interest, and put them up in a bag so that I can take them to a charity shop where they'll be appreciated. So let me sort that out. Hello, Ava. Ava came in and then jumped up on her hind legs to be like, who are you talking to? This is who I'm talking to. Yeah. Oh, good girly. I love you so much. You've actually got a matted bit of fur in your ears that I need to chop off, don't you? I'll remember to do that later. And I'll show you the books that no one wants. And I'm sure once I post this, I'll get you guys going, I'd have that. Like, can I have it? But by the time you see this, I might have already taken it to the charity shop, so I'm sorry. So all of these have nearly been on there for a year. What Hollywood Believes, I got this as a teenager, is basically an in-depth look at the faith of the famous. So they've got Bruce Willis, Britney Spears, Michael J. Fox, George Lucas, Madonna, Hugh Hefner, John Wayne, Goldie Hawn, Rosie O'Donnell, everything. And it goes through and tells you what they believe, what sort of, a look at their faith from like interviews they've done about their faith. So I found that really interesting, but I got that years ago. No one wants it, so that's going to a charity shop. The 24/7 Body by Matt Morsia. I do like Matt. I used to really enjoy his content. Now I'm like, well, you're obviously on steroids, and he lies. In this book, he's like, I have never done steroids, and you're like, you have. So that's not very relatable, is it? Because I'm not going to go on steroids. Marley and Me, such a sad story, but no one wants it. I'm guessing because it's not an old book, but as in the story's quite old. It's been around for a long time. So yeah. The Highway Code for Happiness. Again, I got this as a teenager. The Highway Code, obviously, it's designed in the same sort of pamphlet style. I mean, it's a proper book, but pamphlet style that the Highway Code is in. But it's like the Highway Code for Happiness. Watch out for wallowing. Get rid of that. This is one of Keegan's cookbooks. Cooking from scratch. No. Cooking with Shireen from scratch. I don't know who Shireen Pavlides is, but no one's interested in that. It's had no views. So that can go charity shop. These easy cookbooks, they are a bit battered, they are a bit faded, the colouring has gone on them, so I'm not surprised, but I was selling those all 3 for £1, but no one wants them, so that can go to a charity shop. There we go, a bag full of stuff for the charity shop. I think what's also motivated me to get that in the charity shops before Christmas is I saw something online about this random person had heard from a charity shop person saying it's a real shame that people don't do clear outs before Christmas, because we often find that, you know, there might be someone on a low income coming into the charity shop before Christmas, like a few days before, to get some last minute Christmas gifts at a cheap price, and the shop is, you know, not filled with much stuff. And then suddenly after Christmas, everyone does a big clear out. And then, you know, in January, the shops are all full of stuff. And some of the shops have to turn away donations because there's too much. And they're like, it's just a shame that people can't do that clear out before Christmas to even the flow of donations and to give people who might, you know, be struggling to find Christmas gifts on a budget a chance to actually get some. So hopefully, you never know, in that random pile of books, there might be an odd Christmas present that someone might find. But yeah, these two are so funny. They just like hanging out with me wherever I am. Getting silly now. Now I realised from a few vlogs ago when I was at home whilst Keegan was in Chicago, I was at home with my family and I went charity shop shopping with my mum. We literally went to probably about 10 charity shops and I was like, oh, I'll show you what we've got. And I never did. And I had some comments from you guys going, you never showed us what you got. Now, my mum, I only got one thing. My mum got quite a few books, but, you know, her books, the books she's got are at her house. So I can't show you those. But what I can show you is what I got, which you might have seen in the vlog, because I did film it. But I don't think I saw any comments going, oh, you should have got that. I think I was secretly hoping that some of you guys would be like, oh my gosh, please tell me you got da-da-da. And no one did. Not that I, like, you know, some comments slipped past me, but, you know, I didn't see anyone say this, but let me get it and show you. So you may have seen on a sweep of the shelves an old scale and weights, and I couldn't resist, guys. I had to get it. So it's very rusty, but here we go. I've got the bowl for this side, and I've got the weights as well, but it is all very, very rusty. Let me put it down and get you a proper close-up. It does have a nice little pattern on the side, which I believe is sort of goldish in colour, and it's got, you can see it had like a gold band around the bottom. Usually they're black with a bit of gold on, which this one seems to be, and it is in good nick. The weight still works. As you can see, it moves, and I've got all the weights. They are just packaged in tissue paper down here. You can see on here, it says Williamson's Limited, Brixton. Brixton is a place in London. So I just thought I would buy this. It was only £10. I don't know what age it is. I haven't been able to find it online when I've Googled it. But what I want to do is to buff it up to get rid of the rust and maybe even sort of repaint it, try and restore it a little bit. I thought as £10, you can't really go wrong with that, can you? Even if I can't restore it to anything that looks particularly nice. It will be fun to do as a little project. And as some of you know, I like to do antique chairs. I've done a few and I've got 4 in the corner that I also need to do. It's just like a little hobby of mine, and worst case scenario, I would like it to look very, very nice and have it on display somewhere, like in the kitchen or something. Particularly when we move to like an older house, because it will fit in with the vibe of an older house, rather than this house, which is a bit more modern. Well, I say a bit more, a lot more modern. However, if it doesn't look good, you know, I can at least make an improvement on it, and then I could give it back to a charity shop. That was my purchase. I just need to make more time for things like that. You're all busy people as well, so it's like, when am I actually going to get the time to sit down and, you know, dedicate hours, if not a full day, if not more than a day, to, you know, these DIY projects? Because as I said, I do enjoy doing that. It sort of relaxes me. I feel guilty doing it in the week. And then at the weekends, we've usually got something on. It's one of those jobs that I don't think you can just dip into. It's like, once you start, you got to do it. Like those chairs, I need to start by stripping all of the old varnish and wax from it. And that's a very dirty, very laborious job. And then you've got to sand it down and then revarnish it. So it's a long job, but I think I need to do it because creatively, like I just would like a little project on the go. Right, I have walked to Dunkin', done some editing, walked back to Dunkin', but I didn't film it because I feel like that's all I did in the videos before I went to Centre Parks. But now, I'm inspired because Keegan's now walked to Dunkin' and back, but whilst I've been gone, he has tidied the garage. Let me show you. What a good boy. Now, you might not notice any difference because I didn't show you before, but the shelves are all tidied. You can actually see the garage floor. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. So that has inspired me whilst he's out to tidy up the garden. There are leaves everywhere in the garden. It is well and truly autumn, so I'm going to get the broom out and I'm going to give the garden a tidy. So as you can see, dead leaves everywhere around the hot tub and then onto the grass. Just a nightmare. So let's give it a go. Also, I've just found out our friends Anthony and Peter are coming over this afternoon. So it will be good to have a tidy garden. Not that they'll probably even notice or care, but yeah, it's nice to have a bit of extra motivation, isn't it? You know when you've just been putting a job off for ages and then you do it and you're like, that really wasn't that much effort. Like that took 25 minutes and it's all now nice and clean and tidy. I've been meaning to do that for ages, but never mind. Right, we are back from the pub. We've had a lovely, I was going to say pub lunch, but it was a pub dinner really, with Anthony and Peter and the kids. Yeah, it was nice, although we went round to like 3 different pubs. Couldn't get into 2 of them, so we ended up in the final one, but it was a nice one, wasn't it? Did you enjoy it?
Oh, I loved it. And now I'm doing
socks.
You know, this is my life. I'm a housewife. No rest for the wicked. A woman's work is never done.
Insert generic phrase here.
Generic phrase about women doing all the work, which is generally true.
Not in this house, because there's no women in this house, except for Ava.
And me on Saturdays. Not that we're implying that doing washing is women's work, that's misogynistic, and we empower women in this house.
Oh yeah, I think...
Oh yeah.
I bought these lilies yesterday from Lidl, and I'm so excited for them to bloom. One's about to bloom here. Anyway, my cherry trees, I bought the cherry tree seeds, I bought them in from outside, but still no sign of life, which is sad, so I'm hoping that they will bloom. And this plant is doing so well on this shelf. I was worried moving it from the kitchen onto the shelf that it wouldn't do well, but it actually is, except when I watered it, all the soil has started to go mouldy. So can any plant experts tell me why this is? It doesn't seem to be affecting the plant at all, but obviously it's because I've watered it and maybe, you know, it being a bit damp, it's, yeah, gotten a bit mouldy, but it doesn't seem to be affecting the plant. In fact, the plant seems to be thriving on it. I was just saying to Keegan that now is not the time of year to be on a diet like me. Or being on a diet is like the wrong frame. It's the wrong sort of phrase to use. But being, you know, on a health fitness journey, because right now, all I want is have you seen, it's pitch black outside and it's 6 p.m. and it gets dark at 4 p.m. at the minute. It's making me want to just eat chocolate, cake, biscuits, everything. So in order to stave off the sort of sweet tooth stuff, I'm going to go for a hot chocolate and hope that that works. Because this is only 40 calories, as you can see. Little hot chocolate hack. If you are a hot chocolate household like we are, invest in one of these. So I got one of these, not this exact brand, but I got one of these whisks from a collagen powder company when I worked with them, and then ours broke and we bought this on Amazon and it's so good. Just chuck it in, click on. Oh my gosh! I was going to tell you that it's very strong. Right. That's not ideal. What? That is so aggressive. Okay, I'm making it worse. Right, I've tidied up. That didn't really work, did it? I was gonna recommend this really cool whisk. By the way, I have, what is my life? I'm so messy. That's toothpaste. That was very powerful, very powerful.